In last video, we were discussing on thermal current, that is problems on thermal current. Today we will continue some more common type of problems on thermal current. So today's my first problem is, see, we have two conductors. One is straight, another is bent. Another is bent like this. Suppose here to here is say 20 centimeter in length. Here to here is also 20 centimeter in length. And here to here say 60 centimeter. And this is equal to 5 centimeter. It is also equal to 5 centimeter. Suppose assume this end is maintained at 130 degree Celsius and this end is maintained at 0 degree Celsius. Then what is the ratio of current flowing through this bent portion and its straight portion? Okay, so suppose imagine, it means I am asking the ratio of current, say I1, it is say current flowing through here is I2. I am asking I1 by I2 is how much? Okay, so this problem I will try to solve by comparing with current electricity, right? See here, assume for a minute, here the current I is flowing. I current is flowing in this portion. This I current divides into I1 and I2. And both the currents will flow, come here, and once again this is I. From this it's clear that I1 plus I2 is equal to I. Means this total current divides into 2. As I told you earlier also, if I take the thermal current, I is equal to thermal current, so delta T divided by thermal resistance, okay, thermal resistance. And as we know that thermal resistance can be written as L divided by K A. If I substitute here, thermal current is equal to this, as it is nothing but K A delta T by L. This what we have taken earlier. Today what I want to say here is, if I take the conductors, this portion and this portion have same K and both conductors have same L A and both have this end and this end. Suppose if it is at theta 1, it is at theta 2. Then temperature difference between this portion and this portion remains same. Hence it is also remains same. Then current is inversely proportional to length. So today I want I1 by I2. Inversely, I1, length of this I1 is 5, 60, it is 5, total 70. For I2, length is 60. Therefore, answer is 6 by 7 is the answer. Please note down. Okay, next. Suppose for the same problem, instead of giving this temperature, if they say 130 joule of energy is flowing here, 130 joule, 130 joule of energy, heat energy enters here, it is not the current, then temperature difference is not giving. Then what is the energy flowing in this portion and energy flowing in this portion is the question. Okay, so it means we want the energy flowing in this portion and energy flowing in this portion. As I told in the previous problem, heat energy flowing through a conductor is given by K A delta T divided by length into time of flow of heat. If I take this portion and this portion, K remains same, A remains same, delta T remains same, and time of flow is also remains same. Then Q is inversely proportional to length. So my first way of solution is Q1 by Q2 is equal to L2 by L1. So L2 is nothing but length of this is 60, length of this is 70. 60 by 70 is Q1 by Q2. We want Q1 is how much and Q2 is how much. But as we know, Q1 plus Q2 is equal to 130. If I send it toward that side, Q1 is nothing but 60 by 70 Q2 plus Q2 is equal to 130. Okay, then if I take LCM as 70, then 60 Q2 plus 70 Q2 is equal to 130. Okay, this is nothing but 130 Q2 is equal to 130 into 70. This get cancels. Q2 is equal to 70 joule. If Q2 is 70, then you can substitute and simplify to get Q1. That will be 60 joule. Okay, note down this. Second method. It is our first method, normal way of solution. Second method. As you know, here 130 joule enters and here 130 joule exit. Means this 130 is dividing into 2. 130 is dividing into 2. So that 130 joule depends on length. Therefore, 130 should be divided into 2. That is in terms of length. One is 70, in another is 60. 70 and 60. If I add, it will be 130. Therefore, this and this. As we know that Q and the length are inversely proportional. Means larger is the length, smaller is the energy. Here this conductor has large length. Therefore, carry smaller energy, 60 joule. This has smaller length, hence carries large energy, 70 joule. This is a short trick. Okay, please note down. So another question is, suppose if 3 conductors of same length, same area of cross section. If I say it is a P, Q, this is R. All three conductors have same length and area of cross section. If suppose this has thermal conductivity K1, this has thermal conductivity K2, this has thermal conductivity K3, then if current through PQR means current flowing like this is equal to current flowing through PR means like this, then relation between K1 comma K2 and K3, obtain the relation between K1, K2 and K3. Okay, so if you observe clearly, so one current is flowing here, another current is flowing here. It means this end, and means current is flowing between this and this ends. It means for both the temperature difference remains same. So from this it is clear that if current flowing is same, if current flowing through this portion and current flowing through this portion, if current remains same means the resistance is also remains same. That is resistance of PQR is equal to resistance of PR. This is our conclusion. So for PQR there are two resistors, that is a resistance of PQ plus a resistance of QR is equal to a resistance of PR. Then what is the resistance formula? What is the resistance formula? You know, thermal resistance means L by Ka. For all length and area remain same, no need to differentiate. So it is K1. This is K1 plus for Q2 L by K2A is equal to L divided by K3A. If you take common and simplify, your answer will be 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2 is equal to 1 by K3. Note down. Next problem. These are all similar to our current electricity. Next problem is so 5 conductors of thermal conductivity K1, K2, K3, K4, it is K5. If this end is at a temperature theta1, this end is at a temperature theta2, such that theta1 greater than theta2, then what is the relation between K's? If no thermal current flows through K5. When no current flows through K5, then what is the relation between them is the question. Hope you know it is like a Wheatstone network. In Wheatstone network, when no current flows through this branch, then Wheatstone network is said to be balanced. When Wheatstone network is said to be balanced, then ratio of upper 2, that is K1 by K2, is equal to ratio of lower 2, K3 by K4. This is easy. Just I want to remind you, same can be applied here. Based on this, I want to take a simple question. Okay. See, all conductors have same length and area of cross section, but they have different K. Means suppose there are two types of conductors. Suppose this is a conductor X, this is X, it is X, but this is Y, it is also Y. It is given that thermal conductivity of X is 2 times of thermal conductivity of Y, and if this end is at 100 degrees Celsius and this end is at 0 degrees Celsius, then what is the temperature of this junction is the question. Please pause the screen and try. Okay, see here, as we know that this is X, means I'll call this resistance is R1, this resistance is R1, this resistance is R1, and its resistance is R2, this resistance is also R2. But you know that their thermal conductivities are related like this. As we know, K and resistance, thermal conductivity and resistance are inversely proportional. Based on this, I can say resistance of Y is equal to 2 times of resistance of X. Is it right? Check it. Or you can say Kx by Ky is equal to 2, that is equal to Ry by Rx. Is it right? Sorry, Ry by Rx. You take Ry is equal to 2 times of Rx. Based on this relation, I can redraw this figure. This I'll call this as a resistor. I will call this as Rx. Here this is divided into 2. This is Rx and this is Ry. This is Rx. This is Ry. Okay. You know that Ry is equal to 2 times of Rx. 2 times of Rx. It is also 2 times of Rx. Now, instead of detail, I will go in short. So it is 1 Rx, it is 2 Rx, total 3 Rx. 1 Rx, it is 2 Rx, total 3 Rx. This 3 Rx and this 3 Rx, this total is 3 Rx. This is also 3 Rx. Both are in parallel. So then, when two are in parallel, effective is Rp is equal to, if all are identical, Rp is equal to R by N. Here, Rx, this is 3 Rx, means 2 are there, effective is Rx by, 3 Rx by 2, right? Suppose if it is 100 degrees Celsius, it is 0 degrees Celsius. Then we have to divide and we have to get the answer. Once again, you can take easily. Total difference is 100. This 100 is divided into 2 parts. It is 1. It is 1.5. I said earlier also, to make convenience, multiplied by this number into 100 into 100. So it is 100, it is 150. This total should be divided by this total, 1 plus 1.5, means it is 2.5. This 2.5 is nothing but, 5 by 2. So it is multiplied by 2 by 5. Actually, I have to divide. Instead of dividing, I am multiplying. This is 5 ones are 5 twos are, so 40 degree. It is 5 ones are 5 threes are 60. Means this is dividing into 40 and 60. As you know, resistance and difference are directly proportional, because I is equal to V by R, V is equal to I into R. Here delta T is equal to I into thermal resistance. Since in both cases current remains same, then temperature difference is directly proportional to the resistance. Here resistance is more, is more, so temperature drop is also more, that is 60. Here resistance is less, here it is 40 degree change. If it is 100, means how much decreases? 40 decreases. If 40 decreases, means remaining is 60 degree. Therefore, after 1 Rx, it will be 60 degrees Celsius. Hope the same kind of problems I solved in current electricity. So I am not highlighting more in this part. Okay. So this is next is the most important part, is growth of ice. Growth of ice on pond. I think you might have remembered when I am talking about liquid expansions. There I mentioned one point, formation of ice takes place from surface to bottom. And even I told there how much time it takes to form certain amount of ice. I'll discuss in the next heading. So today we'll discuss here. Assume we have a pond. This is the pond, okay? This is the pond here. So this pond, assume it has water. It has water. You know, formation of ice takes place when the water at 0 degrees start to lose heat. As you know the process, so ice will form when atmospheric temperature is less than 0 degree. Suppose it is at minus theta and it should be at 0 degree, okay? So then formation of ice will take place. Assume already some amount of ice has formed. Assume that already this much ice is formed. Already this much ice is formed. Say a thickness x ice is formed. You know that if it is 0 means it is also at 0 degree. Okay, no need to say that. See, now today's question is to form further thickness. Say to form this much thickness of ice. Say to form dx thickness of ice. How much time it takes is the question. How much time it takes to form a further thickness of ice. Whatever I am representing by black color. So to form this much thickness, how much time it takes is the question. You know that to form the ice, the surface should lose heat to the atmosphere. To lose heat, it should move from here to here. That heat should go from here to here. That you have to remember. Okay, for that, it means there must be a flow of heat. That formula for flow of heat is Q is equal to K into area of cross section of this surface of pond into temperature difference. Means here it is 0 degree minus of, at the surface it is at minus theta into time divided by length. How much distance the heat should flow, that is x. We know to form the ice from here to here, this x goes on changes. X goes on changes. It means here this is not constant, it is variable. Here t as well as x both are variable. As these two varies, q also varies. Hence, we should take a small portion. Okay. So before going to that, this q is nothing but to form the ice. Q is equal to m into L. Then it is K A minus into minus plus it is theta into T by X. M means amount of ice which is forming. Amount of ice which is forming. To form this small amount of distance dx, say it has taken small time t. For dx, it has taken the time dt. For that, how do you write mass? You know mass is equal to volume into density. Volume into density. So this mass I will take m is equal to volume. Volume means area into length. Here length is dx, area into length, into density is rho. Okay, therefore here I will write area into rho into dx into latent heat L is equal to K A theta by x. This time I am taking dt. So we want how much time it takes. Therefore reshuffle the terms. Dt can be written as, or dx by dt. I'll write this as dx by dt. Dx by dt is nothing but K A theta by A rho L into x. A rho L into x. This is called as rate of formation of ice. This is called as rate of formation of ice. Okay, so today I want the time to take the time, reshuffle the things. dt is equal to a rho L x dx divided by K A theta. To get the time, integrate on both sides. I think for integration, after integration you get t is equal to, or otherwise after putting integration, a rho L by K. This a I can cancel, no? So why should I write again and again? I can write that a. Here also you can cancel this a. Okay, so integration of dt is equal to rho L by K theta. Here integration of x dx. Suppose if thickness varies, it is initially is xi. Final, if I say x final, it varies from x initial to x final. I think final answer will be t is equal to rho L by K theta in bracket x final square minus x initial square. Okay, so note down. Based on this we come across questions. So today I'll give you 4 questions based on formation of ice on WhatsApp. Please try to solve that questions. After solving, if you ask me answer, I'll give you later. Okay, we'll continue next video on radiations.